Good morning, everybody. I'm Anne Rossley here with Kyle Harvey. Oh,
Morning.
wait, I got to go the right way.
I know.
I have to learn backwards, Bill. Kyle and I sell real estate in downtown Chicago. We're here today to talk about real estate. Hi, Kyle.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
It's been a busy week. We're going to do our typical thing, everybody, where we do stats first, but then Kyle's got all kinds of great stuff for us. The market is starting to shift a little bit. You need to know what's going on, and we are here to bring it to you. So all that said, I am going to bring up stats, and I don't have much here. If you look at this chart, these are weekly numbers in the Midwest real estate data. Green is a week by week of last year. Blue is a week by week of this year. And I just wanted to point out that closed listings, it looks like in all of them red, we're down each week basically from year before. The story is inventory. If you look at those under contract, we're ahead week by week.
Isn't that funny?
I know, it's so bizarre. We'll get to another chart in a minute. They'll show a little bit more. Okay, this is showing time, and this is kind of a bizarroville tracking. As you can see, it zeroes out every year the first week of January. And our showings were up, and they're up for every year with the exception of 2020, which was the unicorn year where we were in COVID and everybody was buying. So showing traffic is up. Okay, here's the big news, folks. Mortgage rates are down. They're at the lowest they've been for the last 12 months. And they continue to track down with the Fed announcement that cutting rates. And home sales. So here we go. Single family homes, the number of homes sold is up over last year, yet inventory is down. So what that says is homes aren't languishing. People are opting, don't you think, Kyle, for homes they wouldn't necessarily have purchased in a big inventory market?
So my own sense is that the people who are buying their first homes are still active and out there, and it's the other ones that are slow. I mean, the higher end is slow.
The luxury, yeah, granted, we've got what, between a 10 and 14-month inventory of luxury, depending on price point and location. Condo sales year to date were only down 1%, which is striking given the fact that we have the lowest inventory in years. So the way I read this chart is whether it's January, February, March, April, May, June, or July, it's lower inventory than it's ever been for that month. So even though our inventory is a little bit up since December of last year, it's still the lowest August, still the lowest July. And I'm hoping that these lower Fed rates are going to, what do I want to say? Shake the trees.
Yeah. What's been happening, and everyone knows this because we've been talking about it and it's been written about in the newspapers, is the low interest rates that people got in the 2020, 2021, sort of handcuffed people, handcuffs potential sellers who said, even though I want to move to be closer to family, or I need a bigger house, I need a smaller house, blah, 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 they felt handcuffed. And as rates go down, I think those people will be unhandcuffed. It won't feel as much like I'm making a poor financial decision to move on with my life. And so hopefully that'll be homes for sale for people, because families are desperate. People are desperate to move, and there's not enough inventory.
Exactly right. Exactly right. All right. You've prepared 3 different segments for us today, all of which I'm so excited to talk about. Which one do you want to talk about first?
Well, let's talk about first what's happening with Keeping Current Matters.
Okie dokie.
So Keeping Current Matters is a real estate data and analysis company. So they tell us what's going on in the housing market around the country. It's much more of a national approach to data, because there's every local market's different. But this gives you a sense of what's happening generally. When we bring you keeping current matter, protecting mortgage generally. But today we've got their forecast, and it's from last week before the announcement of the Fed rate cut, what they think 2025 is going to look like. So, but listen, we all knew that rate cut was coming, and everyone pretty much priced that it was going to be 0.5%. So this is what Realtor.com senior economist Ralph McLaughlin is saying. We expect the economy to land softly and housing inventory to continue to recover. This should put a downward pressure on mortgage rates this fall and winter, and will set the stage for a much better season for home buyers in 2025. And that's what you were saying, that it looks like we're going to have more inventory, that inventory is the problem right now, and that we should do well in 2025. That's pretty good.
Absolutely.
Bank rate, the chief analyst, Greg McBride of Bank Rate, says federal interest rate cuts in general will bring about lower mortgage rates, which is a definite boost to the housing market, but it won't happen overnight. Remember, everyone, what Anne and I have been telling you, mortgage rates look out, forecast out for years, trying to get a sense of where things are coming. There's a spread that is put on top of the Fed rate, and sometimes that spread is narrower. Usually it's about 1.7%. Right now it's probably around 3%. So what we need to do is for that spread to shrink. And that's, as he says, it's not going to happen overnight. But this is great news, isn't it? Look at this.
I'm laughing that an optimist prepared this chart, Kyle, because instead of highlighting the average of all three, whoever prepared the chart highlighted Wells Fargo because they're the ones that have the most optimistic view of where rates are going.
Yes. Well, but Fannie Mae is always boo-hoo. Let's be honest. We've been looking at this data for a while. They're always boo-hoo. And Wells Fargo's out in the field. I'd like to believe the Wells Fargo numbers.
Yeah. Well, listen, if we end up with rates by next year's Q4 of roughly 5.5, I think we're going to have a really great season where people are going to make their moves. They're going to be able to find the homes they want to buy. All that pent-up demand's going to happen. And we'll look back and say what they forecast, that after every election, numbers go up and interest rates look good, will be true yet again.
Yeah. And your data, your average interest rate chart went on the stats was really close to the, I mean, we may not have to wait for Q1 for these numbers.
Right.
I know. So it's, anyway, we'll see. So, so what people don't, can you see my cursor going like this?
No.
Okay. My cursor is circling around the really ultra low area from 2020
to 2021. Yeah.
Late 2019 to 2022, start of 2022.
Yeah.
Those are never coming back.
No.
We were on sale. We were on sale trying to save our economy after a pandemic. And we are getting back to more normal, recently normal numbers. Even the numbers from 2018, 2019 were low compared. Overall, the average is, up around 6. And so for people, the trend average over decades is closer to 6. Or even higher than that. So
yeah, it's a little bit higher than that. Yeah, it's in the 7s. So we're in a really good place right now. So you're exactly right, Kyle. Everybody, don't compare this to those
crazy
unicorn years.
Yeah,
compare it to the last 40 years, and we're in a very good place.
In a very good place now. So this is what we were talking about. Lower financing costs will get people off the sidelines. Yay. This is Wells Fargo, and they're bullish. This is the projected increase in sales for 2025. So you see,
National numbers of homes closed.
and these are numbers of transactions, not the amount of money or whatever. So
Right.
they're anticipating a nice bump up closer to 2022. But remember, in 2022, we were hobbled by not a lot of inventory.
Yes.
But this is the projection. And so, and as you see here, the National Association of Realtors is a little more bullish than Fannie Mae, MBA. Is that Mortgage Banking Association?
Yeah.
That they're a little more bullish, but we'll see. So, one of the things that's been really tricky for people, the combination of price appreciation and the mortgage interest rates being so much higher than they had been previously, that it's made things unaffordable. One of the great things from here is that there is a real sense that appreciation nationally will slow down. Some markets may lose gains that they've made in the past, and some will continue to get gains and be hotter markets. But
So,
there,
no, I was just going to interject here. Having, as an old horse in the real estate market, I've watched these trends go where the coasts will have these huge spikes of appreciation followed by a resettling.
yeah,
And that's what Freddie Mac and Moody's may be still continuing to forecast. Is there's still areas in the country that are soft right now, recovering from the big flight to the Sun Belt during COVID. So, my understanding is Florida is still soft. It probably will continue to be soft throughout the year. I've had several clients say, I don't want to be in Florida anymore. I want to live up north near my family. Chicago's a great cultural city. I don't see softening in our market yet at all. Maybe in the ultra luxury where there was this big flight, but in the first time buyer market or the move up market, we're strong and continuing to appreciate. We didn't see a big flash, during COVID, like a lot of people did. We saw a good increase, but not a flash increase, double-digit increase. And I think that in our market, we're going to be fine. And I think this is the greatest range of appreciation forecast I've ever seen from all these various bodies. And I think, the way to look at it is, 2.6 would be a good year of appreciation, but it's almost impossible to make a prediction based because each market's so different.
I know. And I continue you made a point that was really interesting about people moving from the warm weather climates, looking to come back here. Just had another person yesterday showing one of my listings, and it's people saying they're coming back to seasons, they're coming back to culture, they're coming back to a happening city. So
Right.
interesting to see how Chicago fares on this on this chart.
Yeah.
I'm not going to read you any more quotes, people, but here you have, you can read for yourself. It was just what we talked about. Current economic projections for 2025 are positive.
Yeah, I think that says it all, right?
Absolutely.
It's all positive. There's going to be a decline in mortgages. There's going to be an increase in the number of sales, and there's going to be a little bit of appreciation most everywhere.
And they're also anticipating more that the American economy is going to do well. And when the American economy does well, real estate does well. So, yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, that's that for that one.
That's all good stuff. Thank you.
Well, we need to hear something positive. I was reading Crain's this morning, and Crain's had an article that the crime stats are way down in Chicago, but it doesn't feel that way because there's still random acts of like crazy violence, like that that very disturbed individual who killed the homeless people on the L train. You know,
Yeah.
what the? But, and I'm feeling that. I live downtown, and I feel much less insecure. I feel like people are out and about. It feels very good, and I'm starting to feel that in the market, that people are feeling much more positive about neighborhoods and things like that. How are you feeling, Anne?
I agree with you. You know, it was interesting. I was driving through the loop, as I often do. It felt like there were more people back in their offices. Yeah, more people, as you say, out and about, whether it's near North or the lakefront trails. Holy cow. There's so many people out and enjoying the lakefront. It was a wonderful September. And yeah, I just sense some optimism everywhere.
Everywhere, and yay, we deserve it, people. Well, let's look at trending topics and news. And I don't have a ton, but there's an interesting topic being discussed. And
Oh, I have feelings about this one.
excellent. So there's something called clear cooperation that applies to real estate brokers. The National Association of Realtors, and Ann and I are members of NAR, requires properties to be listed on the MLS, the multiple listing service, within 24 hours of any kind of public marketing. Like if you want to hold an open house, but your property, your listing is on the private network. As soon as you hold an open house, within 24 hours, it's got to go on the public network. And so it really is handcuffs on sellers and brokers who want to keep things private, that they have to, it's a NAR, the National Association of Realtors, believes that for MLSs to thrive, for a marketplace to thrive, properties that are being marketed have to be marketed to everybody, and they do that through the MLS. And why is this a controversy?
Well, it's a controversy because they're, wait a minute. Policy restricts sellers' choice of how to sell their homes. Yeah, it's saying that we're dictating, Mr. Seller, that you have to put your house on the market. If you want to hold it back for any reason, we're not allowing you to do that. And, you know,
we're allowing you to do it as long as you don't try and market it. If you want to hold it back all you want, but don't just market it to your friends. That's what we're saying. That's
right.
That's what the Fair Cooperation says.
Yes.
But the Department of Justice is going after NAR for this rule because it says it restricts seller choice and precludes competition from new listing services. So that it's thinking that there might be a different MLS if you don't have to put that. There could be there are private things like Top Agent Network, to which I belong, is a separate listing service.
Right. And I belong to that too. Okay. So let's talk about the pros.
Oopsie.
What are the pros of the rule?
Good. So first of all, properties that are on the MLS get the most exposure to buyers, and most exposure to buyers usually means you will get the best price because you have the most people interested.
Kind of a free market capitalism kind of thought process, right?
Absolutely. And when I represent buyers, I'm often trying to get things before they hit the market because then I'll have the best opportunity to get the sale if I don't have competition.
Right.
That's what we do. That's why Ann and I are members of Top Agent Network. We're trying to find properties before they hit the market so that we can grab them. Go ahead.
No, serves fair housing goals. I think this is a real important reason to be in favor of it, because whenever you withhold a property from a certain segment of the market, you potentially will be withholding it from people who deserve to see it, you know, who may not have access to everything.
Absolutely. And to there are all sorts of sneaky ways people can violate fair housing by keeping it off the market. It is by subtly, you know, making it a pocket listing only available to certain clients.
Yeah.
That is,
Let's talk turkey on this, Kyle.
yeah,
Um, number one, would you say this was a big deal if we were not a low inventory market? Meaning, if there were 6+ months of inventory on the market, would you be seeing people squabble about this rule?
that's a good point. I would squabble about this rule because I would be worried about fair housing.
So you are in favor of clear cooperation?
Absolutely.
See, I am too. And folks, I feel really strongly about this actually. In fact, one of the proponents of keeping this like quiet thing is the head of a major real estate company who's trying to grab market share.
Yeah.
And I'm calling BS on him because they're out there marketing to the public that they have this proprietary, we will market it, we'll create this fear of missing out and we'll get you a higher price. And that's not the case. You know, no, you never get the highest price unless everybody has a crack at the property and it's marketed properly. Don't get me wrong. You don't throw it out there before you have all the good pictures and all of that. But, you know, I just think the company that has the number one market share in terms of transactions in a marketplace should not be allowed to just quietly provide it to their own people, pretending that's the better solution for the sellers when it's not. It's the better solution for those agents who have buyers that can't find what they want. That's who it's better for. It's not better for you, Mr. Seller.
Yeah. I
That's my rant.
completely agree. I'm also I also work in a market where sometimes, and these are co-op buildings, behave badly, and because they can, through their they are allowed to make judgments about potential buyers based on financial reasons, and they behave badly.
Yeah.
And we all know what those buildings are. And I'm not showing people those buildings. I believe wholeheartedly in the Fair Housing Act and its goals, and absolutely no discrimination in regards to housing. And not everybody does. And so let's look at the cons of the rule. To be fair, before we judgment. They're saying, and the CEO of this brokerage, this national brokerage that wants the market share, says some sellers may want more than 24 hours of restricted access because of privacy and security concerns.
What does 24 hours of privacy give you? I don't understand.
They want more than that because right now it's 24 hours you have to put it on the market.
Right, right.
So a couple of things. This is the hyper rich that are driving this. The people who have who are worried about people coming on and you know, theft and people knowing how rich they are and where they live and things like that. And I get it. We live in a time when security is very important to a lot of people, and I'm not downgrading that. But if you don't want people knowing who owns your property, there are ways of doing that. You put it into different kinds of
right. You put your property in trust. You know, when I'm showing in the high market, there have been times where my buyers are screened before we have access to the property. And you know what?
financially screened.
That's what I mean. Thank you for clarifying. Exactly right. Because the seller doesn't want unqualified buyers coming into his property. And you know what? So that's how you deal with it. You deal with it by having agents representing buyers who have pre-qualified and vetted the buyers, you know?
And if you're worried about theft, this was another thing. Well, they might see that I have pretty art on my walls. Okay, you're going to sell your house. Take the art off the walls.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Put something else up, something lower key. Take the Monet and put it in storage. So what I'm saying is there are ways to deal with it to address
Right.
these privacy and security concerns. And but then the other con is the con that that is not being spoken out loud, but the fact that Compass, the CEO of Compass, is very much against this rule. They want to market themselves as only having listings available only to their clients. They want to do this so that they can keep other people out and grab market share. Well, okay, sorry.
It's not in the best interest of the seller to do it. And I just have a problem with those agents who really con those sellers into it. And I think it is a big con. I mean, meaning I'm not an against, I mean a con as in a gambit.
Scam.
Scam. Yeah.
Well, but here's also a thing. People's real estate, people's properties are very often their largest asset. And one of the things that is deeply important to people is the ability to liquidate their assets when they need to do so.
Right.
I'm somewhere else. I've had a financial reversal. I've got to put money there. I want to be able to sell. When you have a rule that does not promote a robust marketplace, these assets become less liquid.
Yes.
It is an inefficient marketplace to have all these little sub-markets within other brokerages. People, we want big, one common market so that real estate can move, so people can find the real estate that they want. Do not make this harder. This is what the clear cooperation rule, I believe, does for us.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. I'm off my soapbox.
Yeah, no, I mean, both of us. So, people, if you're watching this and somebody says to you to put it on the private network for a while, beware. There might be times to try it, if you're not in a hurry, if you want to test the price before you go on. There are reasons to try it. However, as my daughter Lizzie says, however, and beware.
I do it. So I'll put things on the private network, one when I'm a little worried about the price, or it's over the holidays and I don't want to get market time during a dead period. But we always know that sometimes there are people looking over the holidays and they're desperate to find something.
Right. Exactly.
I want
And
to
they will find you. Yes.
find me, but it's on the public private network. It's on the MLS's
Exactly.
network. It's not just tucked away at Baird and Warner, letting the Baird and Warner agents know
Right.
it's available. So
Yes.
okay. And then I had this. I thought this was interesting. This is data from Zillow Home Loans. But they said where homeowners save most from buying versus renting. And Chicago was one.
In Chicago. This doesn't surprise us, does it, Kyle? Because we've been talking about rents going up and houses are, especially now that interest rates are down, hovering near 6, and rents have not come down appreciably. They're still up over last year. It is absolutely the time. And especially first-time buyers, pay attention. There was still that $25,000 forgivable bonus from Cook County if you earn less than $140,000 per year. So my goodness, if there was ever a time for a first-time buyer or somebody whose income's under 140 to think about making the move from rent to own, holy smokes, is this the time?
Holy smokes. Anyway, so that's all I got for that.
I love it. That's all good stuff.
Do we have time for just a quick
Yes.
on how fast did it sell?
Let's do it.
Okay, so how fast did it sell? Remember, I've been doing over the summer because, I wasn't creative, and this is what we did. How fast will it sell? Well, here's some updates.
I love it.
So remember this really cute house on Fullerton Parkway? It sold for It was on the market for $2,290,000. I have all my data here. Now I've moved it. And it went on the market sort of mid-July. It dropped its price to $2,150,000, and it sold for $2,175,000, which suggests there was more than one offer.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
So that closed on September 19th.
Cool.
This beautiful thing on Wayne went under contract immediately. It went under contract in.
We predicted that too, didn't we? That would go fast.
So that went under contract in 13 days, in less than 2 weeks. And I think they just put the data in longer because they went under contract within 1 week. And it sold. It was on the market for $1,725,000, and it sold for $25,000 over the asking price. Well done, listing agent Kate Waddell. And it was sold to, interestingly, let's go back. It was sold to a non-member. It was sold to somebody who wasn't represented. Interesting. Then this cute thing, which is on Prairie Avenue, oopsie, go back, on Prairie Avenue is under contract, and it did not drop its price, and it was under contract after 75 days. So after 2.5 months on the market, this beautiful house, and it's been updated, but it looks so glorious, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
So we'll see soon. It went under contract on September 5th. So we should be finding out pretty soon. Then a number of townhouses went under contract. This or sold. This one on, where did I lose the? This is 2202 North Lakewood, and its original price was $915,000. And it was on the market for just under 2 months. They intelligently dropped the price to twice. They dropped it to $899.9, and then they dropped it to $869.9, and went under contract. We'll find out when it sells what it sold for. This cute one, Kim Curvis, sold for $715,000. This had sort of a little bit of a storied history, but it went under contract and fell out under contract anyway.
Was this the one that like needed the work inside, but it's a good space? Yeah.
It had an elevator up to the second floor, and it was a lot. It was a poorly organized, but interesting and beautiful. I mean, nice little setting, cute little garage. It sold, and it's got outdoor space, a cute little back garden. So it went under, its original price was $749,000. It then dropped its price to $900,000, and then it sold for this. It sold for $715,000, and it took 15 days. And I think they monkeyed with a little bit with the days on market, but that's pretty good. Then this one on Scott Street. And this one is 250 West Scott, Unit D. It's within that gated community on Scott, and it was listed for $899.9, and then dropped its price to $849,900. And so we'll see what that sells for.
Interesting.
That's all I got, people.
You got good stuff, girl.
Things move pretty fast, and they're closing remarkably quickly.
Yeah.
In weeks rather than in months.
Wow. So, everybody, thank you for watching. Please, if you're thinking about making a move, it's a very good time to do so. If you want more information about your home and your situation, please reach out to us. Subscribe to our social media and our YouTube channels, and we'll see you next time.
Have a great week.